So who here has experience pitching? Getting in front of people and giving a pitch? Some do, some don't. I guess 30% of the room here. Have anybody, have any of you guys ever been critiqued on your pitch? On how to pitch, how to pronounce, how to get in front of customers or clients?
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, that's me here. All right. Well, good. Well, you guys are in for a treat tonight, especially those who haven't been here before. And I see some familiar faces which have been, because we do have an expert here tonight, a professional that's here to show you guys how to pitch, AKA the Pitchman is here tonight. So I want everyone with a really, really strong Miami applause.
Thank you for that applause. I can't begin to tell you how great that makes me feel. Makes me feel strong, powerful, and unstoppable. So let me ask you a question. In the last 48 hours, who here in the room has gotten applause from a fellow worker, a lover, a friend? Anyone? Raise your hands. You got applause? How'd you get applause, Jan?
Because I developed my staff and they appreciate that.
Fantastic. So they actually applaud you. So for those of you that have not gotten applause in the last 48 hours, that will change tonight. We're here to talk about pitching. Now I gotta tell you, I'm a little bit unorthodox when it comes to the way people pitch, and I'm going to tell you why. Most people think that a pitch gives you 60 seconds to spit out everything you are about yourself so that you can get people interested in what your product, what your service is, what you do, right? Here's the deal. A pitch is an interactive conversation. Your entire role when talking to other people and communicating is to get them to respond to you. Now, there are a couple of issues, because clinically speaking, the fear of public speaking, which is known as glossophobia, which is Greek, makes people afraid to speak. 74% of the population suffers from this inability. It's a confidence. 74% of the population. That's 3 out of 4 people. Take a look around you. Tonight we're going to experience what I hope will be the beginning to change how you approach communication in your life. You've got to remember it's a conversation. Now, no one is born as a great public speaker. It takes practice, it takes time, it takes dedication, it takes practice, it takes self-evaluation. But here's the thing, when we talk to other people, we never see what we look like, right? That's why athletes and dancers, singers, they all use a mirror so that they can see what it is that they look like. Because after all, if you don't know you picked your nose in the middle of a presentation, don't wait for someone to have to point it out to you. Very important. So, we need to be able to start at a particular point. And that particular point tonight is going to be seeing the value of what is known as the 3 V's of successful communication. Now I'll go to my slide. Oh, I don't work with slides, I'm sorry. Slides are good sometimes, but not for this. Slides can help you in a lot of different things, but I'd rather you pay attention. My goal for you tonight is to make sure that each and every one of you walks away with a little bit more of an understanding about what might be stopping you from being the best communicator that you can be. An effective communicator. So, let's be honest. Who suffers in one way or another from speaking publicly out loud? Come on, don't be shy, raise your hands. Okay, I said 74% of the population. Now, this thing called glossophobia is a social phobia. It's true, it's real. And a lot of people suffer from it. Why? So I'd like you who raised your hands, tell me what your biggest fear of getting up and speaking in front of an audience like this is. Don't all jump in at once. Go.
Making myself look dumb.
Making yourself look dumb.
People not
Cat got
understanding.
your tongue.
Cat caught your tongue.
People not understanding what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Anyone else?
Being a professional.
So you have to come across in a particular way. You know, there's a really wonderful guy that I'm sure you're all familiar with. His name is Tony Robbins. Have you ever heard of Tony Robbins?
Yeah.
Tony said something really interesting, and he didn't come up with it. It was actually, I think, maybe Aristotle, but please don't quote me on that. Fear, its acronym. False, say it.
False evidence appearing real.
I can't hear you.
False evidence appearing real.
What's that mean?
It's bullshit.
That's an exist.
Basically, it is bullshit. Because if you're worried that you're not professional enough, if you're worried that you can't get your content across, that's false evidence. You can get your content across. You will be professional. And we all know that in today's technology, life is taking us further and further away from communicating. I believe that face-to-face communication is the cornerstone of humanity. And incidentally, it's the cornerstone of all life. Plants communicate with each other, insects do, everything do. Birds, bees, they all do it. Let's fall in love. Anyway, so basically, I want you to start to think about that. Now tonight, you're going to be given the opportunity to give us your pitch. And please remember, what you're going to get is feedback from the room. This is part of the process of learning how people see you. 3 V's of communication. 1, and it's called the 7-38-55 rule. 7% of what people get from you when you speak is actually the words you're speaking. It's your vocabulary, it's your grammar, it's the use of idioms, slang words. Maybe in your business, it's buzzwords. Please remember, however, that we all live in a little fish tank, and we all have things in our industries that are buzzwords. Don't confuse the fact that you know what that word means and think that your audience does, unless you're pitching directly to somebody that you know is in your business. 7% what you say. 38% of what people get from you when you're communicating with them is how you say what you say. You're vocal. This is what I call vocal dynamics. The ability to be able to use phrasing, breath control, pronunciation, pauses, changes of pitch and voice, changes of volume. Do you feel motivated by what I'm saying? You're paying attention? That is my vocal, my ability to be able to express myself and my content to you. 55% of what people get when we speak to them is visual. This is what you look like, what you're wearing, maybe slides that you use, your gestures, your face, your emotions. Everybody reacts to emotions. And remember, people hear what they want to hear. So it's really important to make sure that you understand that they understand what you just said. So if anyone looks questioning, stop and ask questions. Find out what it is that they don't understand or get. The 4th component of great communication is your ability to listen. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for one reason. Listen twice as much as you speak. Listen twice as much as you speak. Very important. And I'll tell you why. Because most people listen with the intent of getting the listening over so they can talk. Okay? And the minute I say something in telling you a story, I'll give you an example. I woke up this morning and my cat threw up again. That's my story. Maybe some of you are thinking, well, I got a cat. My cat throws up. I got a dog. I'm going to show him that I know what he's talking about because I've experienced that. Well, your brain starts working and now you forgot or didn't hear the rest of my conversation. Always pay attention. And tonight when we're giving feedback, I want you to remember these 3 V's. And I want you to evaluate people's pitches on the following. How they look. What did they say? And how did they say it? Were they convincing? Did they engage you in a conversation and not a pontification? Hi, my name is Peter, I'm a vocal speaking coach, and I'm here today to tell you that I can help you. You believe me?
Yeah.
I got a bridge too that I'm interested in selling. It's in Brooklyn if anybody's interested. No one is born a great public speaker. I was really lucky. I'm going to tell you a story about my childhood and then we're going to grow up right into this. I was shy. I was the kid that sat in the corner, didn't say anything to anybody. I was amazingly insecure. And then something happened to me. I fell in love with music. I saw someone on a television program who none of you were around when he was around. His name was Elvis Presley. He changed my life. Why? Because at that moment I understood that everything that I could possibly be would be in communicating myself to others. But how does a really shy, insecure Jewish kid from Brooklyn get past being insecure and talking out loud? Well, I had to challenge myself. Got my parents to buy me a guitar. I took lessons. Taught myself how to sing. I joined some bands. Went out there and played. And I was the guy that was playing like this. I couldn't look at anybody. I was scared crap. I even turned the microphone around for my vocals. But after practice, after people coming over to me and going, hey man, that was really pretty good. You ever do this before? No, my first time. Well, that's great. What did I get? I got applause. And that's truly what motivated me. Years later, I got into the sales business and the marketing business. So what I did was I took my perception of the audience that was listening to me sing my songs when I was with Capitol Records and MGM Records. And I found a new audience for whatever it was I was selling. But I was still performing. It was just the audience that changed a little bit. And I started to notice the incredible similarities between great public speakers and great vocal performances. President Obama, great public speaker. Dr. Martin Luther King, fantastic public speaker. We can go on and on and on. Beyonce, Frank Sinatra, Elvis Presley, even Madonna. All of these people communicated their content effectively to audiences. So what are the common denominators? They're passionate, right? They know their content. They memorize their lyrics. Giving a public speech, speaking publicly, is just like a song. And you'll notice that when I talk in this kind of environment, I could be singing it. Because a song has a beginning, a middle, and an end. A speech has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Biggs and I have been working now for, I guess, a couple of weeks in private sessions, which I do. And it was an amazing thing for me because He's an ex-musician.
Small world.
But he didn't get that when you're speaking publicly, you can use all that talent in how you speak to be able to turn it into something that's more melodic, something that allows you to take pauses. So I want you all at this particular point, I'm going to give you some instructions and I want you to follow them. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yep, all right. This is called an icebreaker. And I gotta read it, because I just wrote it. But, this is an icebreaker. I want to show you the power of three things. What you look like, how your body moves, how you sound, and what you say. Everybody stand up, please.
Watch your back, boss.
This is really simple, okay? So everybody just loosen up a little bit, okay? Come on. That's it, loosen up. All right. Now, I want you to repeat after me. Are you ready?
Ready?
Yes. Stand up, everybody. Stand up, everybody. Repeat after me. Repeat after me. Now shake your body. Now shake your body. Feel that energy. Feel that energy. Release all the tension. Release all the tension. Singing sets you free. Singing sets you free. Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody. Come and respond with me. 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 All right, give yourself a round of applause. Now, I could have asked you just to say those words with me. Come on, everybody, stand up, everybody, blah, blah, blah. Did you feel your body just now? Mm-hmm. Did you feel excited? Did you feel as though you actually sang instead of spoke? Mm-hmm. That's why I call it the music of public speaking. Because we are all deep in our hearts associated with the universal language of music. We all sing in the shower. And I know you do because Janet let him watch it. So, why do I care about all this? In 1991, after having done everything I could do in the world of sales, and I mean that quite frankly, I was walking home knowing that I couldn't do this life anymore. I was traveling all the time, my family was bizarre, because I was on the road so much. And one night I was walking in New York City, and I heard some music coming out of a bar. And I walked into the bar. And I walked up and I ordered a scotch, paid the bartender, and suddenly the band started playing again. And it was one of my favorite Rolling Stones songs. And the band was really fantastic. But the singer was horrible.